talking while other people eat. Hello? Hey, Wizard World, what's up? Nope, not gonna work, not gonna work. I say, hey, Wizard World, what's up? And then everyone that can hear me says, what's up? So, I'm gonna do it again. Hey, Wizard World, what's up? There we go. Now we're having fun, everybody. Hey, so my name is Mike Watson. I'm about to be on the Creo stage today. I'm actually already here. I'm early. So if anybody wants to come check us out or look from over there, I'll be talking about sketch cards and how I make those for Upper Deck and Marvel Comics. I will even be giving away something for free for coming to hang out with us. But I want to let you know I'm over here because they had an announcement earlier and I draw pretty pictures. Thank you to you all for coming over here. You are making me not feel alone right now, that I'm not the only comic book artist in the world, and I appreciate that. All right, Bumpy, we're gonna get started. What's up, everybody? How you doing? I am talking to everyone in this chair and anyone that can hear me within the convention floor. Hey, I like her over there. What's your name? Hey, check Mel out. She's got some stuff, and it looks good from back here, and she's got a real positive attitude, and I like that. She's got energy. So, my name is Mike Watson. I am a comic book creator. The publisher of Short Fuse Media, where we publish around 30 different comic books. I'm the owner of Freestyle Comics, where we publish 6 different comic books with a brand new one coming out next year. I am one half of The Good, the Bad, and the Nerdy, a podcast that I do. Also do a podcast called The Dear Creative. Look for me on YouTube. And I am the most enthusiastic person in comics, if you could not tell. I like to have fun and have a good time. I am going to be talking about doing sketch cards. Not just any sketch cards for Upper Deck and Marvel Comics, because that's what I do. Yes. Thank you. So, we need to tell you the whole story about how I got to do this whole thing. It is completely random, and this is the only time getting a commission gig has worked for me like this. So I'm just posting artwork up on Instagram, trying to be a social butterfly, and I notice I get a follow from somebody called Zach at Upper Deck. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Upper Deck followed me. That's what's up. And so I go look at this page. I'm like, oh, he's like a talent scout for Upper Deck. Cool beans. All right. Well, I got a couple eyes on him. Then about 3 hours later, I get an email from Zach saying, hey, we want you to do an Upper Deck set for us. 15 cards drawn from Marvel Premiere. Would you be interested? Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? What? Yes. Yes. Did I not say yes? Yes. Okay? So, it was pretty cool because I get a lot of my work comes from word of mouth or me being at conventions and stuff like that, or other people that I've done work for refer me to the people and stuff like that. So actually getting scouted out by a name brand company and reaching me this work, that's the first time it ever happened to me. And I've been on Instagram for about 3 years before that happened and whatnot, and just putting up. I think they liked my commission work. I do a lot of commission work at shows, and I'm always posting that work up on Instagram. But they sent me this deck of cards. They're like 5x7. And I have 15 of them drawn. So they're like postcard size. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you guys must scan these in and then shrink them down to the regular card size. So I'm like, I'm drawing them. I'm taking a real long time with them because I want them to look good. And I get them done on time, send them in. So the process is, I can't say whatever set I'm working on currently, but I can announce I'm doing a set for Upper Deck and Marvel Comics. Takes them 30 to 60 days to approve the cards because Upper Deck has to approve them. Marvel has to approve them. Then they'll let me know which cards are approved, and once it's approved, I get paid 60 days after approval date. So it's a whole process. So I get my cards in, go through the whole thing, they all get approved. So I was like, yes! My cards all got approved, they like them all, right? So then about 3 weeks later, I get another email. Want you to do another set? I'm like, 15 cards? Yeah, let's go. That's nothing. Nothing. I'll bang that out, get this money, say I work for Marvel and Upper Deck. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it was 60 cards. And they wasn't 5x7. They were regular card size. I opened up the box, like, what the hell is this? What is this? Let me tell you. Drawing on a regular card size is way harder than a 5x7. Because at that point, it's not about us capturing as much detail as possible. For me, anyway. I had to work through those 60 cards and kind of figure out a balance between detail and simplicity and what was going to work. Trying to figure out how to work the image on that paper to find something that's interesting was hard. What was harder on top of that was coming up with the characters to put on the cards. Because I have a very strict guideline of what I can and cannot draw. And I'm a huge MCU fanboy. I love the movies. Can't draw none of them. No MCU characters. I cannot draw Chris Evans as Captain America. None of that. Not allowed. Then there's no Fantastic Four, no Silver Surfer, no Deadpool. They have a ton of stuff you can't draw a character holding a gun pointing at the camera. If we draw a gun, it's got to be a spacey, futuristic type gun. It cannot be a real gun. None of the characters' costumes can be battle damaged. Whole bunch of stipulations, so it's real picky. Well, not picky, but they have a lot of things and guidelines I have to follow with these cards. So as I'm got my 60 cards spread out, I'm like, all right, well, who I'm gonna draw? What's gonna happen is I got the Premiere set, so it's whatever. There's no set card. So I end up getting that done, banging that out, getting it finished up to the last minute because it's hard to choose the characters. Get that in, I'm like, that was hard, right? Month goes by. I get another request. This time, Black Panther 2. Oh, Black Panther the movie. So I'm like, of course, I can draw Black Panther characters from the movie. No, no, just promoting Black Panther. All right, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm a huge fan of Black Panther the movie. Think it's dope. Think it's great. I think Black Panther is a great character. There's only been one story in the comic books that I've liked for Black Panther. I think a lot of people don't write them well, but this one story I really enjoyed. And so I got this Black Panther set, and I can draw the characters. I can draw Captain Marvel, I can draw Wolverine, I can draw these other characters or whatever, right? But the majority of it has to be Black Panther. And I'm looking through Black Panther. Where the hell are your characters at? These are slim pickings. I drew 15 Black Panthers on that 60 card set. Okoye, I drew her about 5 times. So it was very slim pickings or whatever. My favorite card set that I got to draw was Marvel Masterpiece. Marvel Masterpiece for this one reason. I used to collect Marvel Masterpiece cards as a kid. So being able to draw for Marvel Masterpiece when I collected them, and I still have some of them, was amazing. And then my second favorite set was a premiere set where they actually tell you what character they want you to draw. At one time, I had 3 sets. Black Panther, X-Men, Ant-Man and Wasp 2, and Marvel Premiere that I had to draw over 3 months. 60 cards apiece. My hand hurt. My hand was hurting after all that. But that's the backstory, that's the lay of the land. Hey, as we were talking, we got some people in. We drew some attention here. We got a little crowd. I was trying to beef it up before I started drawing. So, for all you staying here, after I get done with this, you will each get a ticket. My table is A23. For spending this time and listening to me gab, you will get a free item, an exclusive Wizard World gift at my table. All you gotta do is come see what I do, which is making comic books. I'll talk about that for 2 minutes. You get a free item. If you buy something, great. If not, I still love you. I got thick skin. My feelings will not be hurt. Everything is not for everybody, and that's what my mama told me. So, I just want a chance to show you what I do. And on that note, let's get into what I do. This image right here is actually my characters from the world of Freestyle Comics. As you can see, we have a diverse roster of characters. At Freestyle Comics, we believe anybody can be epic, no matter your shape, size, color, sex, whatever. Anyone gets the right to have superpowers and be a villain or a hero in our world. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for sketch cards. I have to plug myself. All right. So, I'm doing this on iPad. I really, really love iPad. It makes things super easy. I'm still getting used to it. I like to use an app called Procreate. And let's see here. Do I have something already laid out? Let's just go with something new. So I'm gonna work at 6x4. That's kind of like the postcard size that they gave us when I first started. All right, so when I'm drawing these cards, I'm actually drawing on the card that they are gonna sell. So I didn't figure this out till like my 4th set. I was real curious, like, so what are you guys doing with these cards? Like, where can I get some of these cards? 'Cause I thought they took the original art, scanned it in, and then they shrunk the cards down and put them out in packs that you could buy. No. So there is apparently an Upper Deck website just for collecting different exclusive cards. On this site, it's almost like a Facebook page where everyone has their own profile. So you would buy, for example, you would get some Black Panther cards. And it would be based off the movie, but inside that 11 pack of cards would be a sketch card from a random artist. So it'd be a bonus that you get in that pack. So people would buy Black Panther, Thor, whatever they wanted, and they would get a sketch card from one of us artists. Their pack would open up digitally online to show what they had, and then their sketch card would pop up. This is the sketch card you have. All this would post on their profile. So other people on this website could see what you have, and they could trade and barter with the sketch cards. So once I figured it out, I was like, oh, so I'm never going to be able to get one of those cards, because those cards are going by themselves $150, $200, $300. So and it happened the same week that I figured out how all this stuff works. Some guy messaged me on my Facebook page like, hey, are you Mike Watson? It says Art of Mike Watson. Yeah, I'm Mike Watson. He's like, did you draw this? And he has a picture of a card I drew, Luke Cage. I was like, yeah, I drew that. He's like, is this part, because I like to draw, every time I get a set from Marvel, I put 4 cards together and draw them on one panel. So it's like a puzzle piece. And he's like, did you also draw Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil? Is this like a 4-card set that you drew? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, because I'm looking at the Jessica Jones right now. I mean, these are messages he is sending back to me as I'm responding. He's like, I'm looking at the Jessica Jones right now. I'll be right back. I get a message 20 minutes later. He's like, I just got the Jessica Jones. How'd you get the Jessica Jones? What do you mean you just got the Jessica Jones? I just been on this website. I saw it works. How did you just get the Jessica Jones? Because it doesn't tell you what card is coming in the pack. It's all randomized. He said he traded 3 of his other sketch cards to get the Jessica Jones. Each one of those sketch cards were like $200 to get the Jessica Jones. Then he told me like, I got a lead on the Luke Cage and the Daredevil and the Iron Fist too. How are you doing this? By the end of the day, and I guess he was excited, he literally, in trading, he spent over $2,000 to get my card set in trades from cards he already had that he just had stockpiled because he wanted this 4-card set. People, I officially arrived. I was like, I don't know what made you tell me the story, but thank you, because I'm blushing like hell right now, and that's a hard thing to do, all right? I'm excited. You are making me feel good right now. So that's my final story. We're going to get into some art right now. All right, what character should I draw here? Anybody toss out a character. Let's go.
Ghost Rider!
Ghost Rider. Oh, man. He got it. I said everybody participating. That man took notes. He was waiting for his moment. He's going to ask. He's going to ask the character to draw. I know he is. Ghost Rider! I got you, man. All right, so when I'm actually, I draw the cards traditionally. I use a non-photo blue pencil to draw out, do my layout and things like that. So we're going to mimic that. The way that I draw in layers. So I use a non-photo blue. Then I use an HB pencil, which is kind of like an in-between soft and hard pencil, kind of a middle ground. Then I have a tiny 0.5 4H pencil that I use to get in my details. I don't ink it. I color it first with markers. I love Prismacolor markers. I can't afford Prismacolor markers. So I go on Amazon and I look for the leading knockoff. And I buy those. Once I have it all colored in marker, then I go over top of it and I begin to ink it. So I'm going to kind of like mimic what I do here and talk through it. So we're drawing Ghost Rider. Trying to come up with a pose. You want the card, depending on what you want to go for, you want the pose to be exciting, you want to be eye-catching. Some people are really, really good at subtle drawings where it's just a profile shot or just a standing pot and it looks amazing. I hate those people because it's really hard for me to do that. I'm a big action guy, so I always try to go for action, making it pop and stuff like that. So we have Ghost Rider. Where did he go? All right, which Ghost Rider am I drawing? Am I drawing traditional Ghost Rider or Robbie Reyes that was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Traditional. All right, guys, this is class participation, all right? Everybody can participate. Please don't be afraid. And in case you did not know, this is a complete safe space. Safe. No one can hurt you here. I got you. All right. So we're talking about Ghost Rider. He's a skull, flaming head, leather jacket, rides a bike. I already like have an image in my head. I really want to focus on the skull and do some forced perspective. So kind of like what I also teach art back in Columbus. And what I like to do here is kind of draw like what's called the sketch skeleton. Kind of just like getting out the parameters of this thing. Now, when I'm drawing and laying this stuff out, it is a bunch of scribbles and lines. Now, I can't do this in real life, so iPad allows me to cheat. But because I'm on this one layer, I can shrink and adjust my size. Now, when I'm drawing it on paper, I have to be more careful and lay it out, but we only got 40 minutes here, so I gotta make sure I get this in. Now, the thing I do when I'm drawing, even when I'm doing it with a pencil, not with the iPad, I keep my pencil moving. I just keep sketching. I build up the form. And yeah, that does involve me going over it several times. And as I'm doing this, I'm adjusting the size. And if you guys and gals have any questions, please just raise your hand. I have learned how to do some multitasking, so I can talk and draw at the same time. In this layout stage, I want to put down pretty much everything in my head as far as the pose, what I want to have in there. I really want to build up. It's literally like making a sandwich. I want to put all the pieces in there before I really want to outline it. From this sketch and layout, who can see what's going on right now? My man, that's pretty much exactly what I got going on here. And at this stage, this is like, I guess kind of like, that's why I like using blue for when I'm building things. This is my blueprint. I am making my map for how I want this to be. And I don't know why, it's just really comfortable to draw on that. Once I got to college, I got a hold of blue pencil line, and they use that for construction sites. That's how they do their maps and stuff. And I just like it. I've just liked it ever since then. I couldn't get rid of it or whatnot. But this is my map. That's what I'm laying down right now, everything on. Per card. The hardest part is coming up with the layout, but each card could take me anywhere from 2 to 4 hours per card. Spidey, Storm. I actually dislike drawing Black Panther because of his costume. It's so simple, but it's so simple that it's hard because there's so many different versions of it. And everyone has a different formula for how they draw that costume. I haven't discovered my way of drawing that costume yet. So that one's harder for me. Wolverine, of course. I love John Wolverine. It's one of the reasons why I'm in the comics. Um, I can't stand drawing Iron Man. It's so annoying. He's got so many different armors. It's so techy, so many straight lines. I can't stand it. Because I don't like drawing the version of Iron Man where his suit looks like plastic rubber suits over all of his muscles. I prefer trying to draw it like an actual iron suit and a man's in there, which because of that preference makes it harder to draw. So not the biggest fan of that one. Venom, because they can do all types of cool stuff with the symbiote suit on Venom and his mask. His mask doesn't have to be, you don't have to define Venom's muscles. You can just draw him as a big, massive creature. And with all those tendrils and liquid coming off him, he's super, super fun to draw. So right now I'm going into the second layer. On my first layer, I faded that down a little bit more, just enough so I can see it. Something I would love to see. Ghost Rider versus Scorpion. I think that would be pretty incredible. That's who they need to put in the new Mortal Kombat DLC. And I thought of that because of you. So I'm sending that idea across Twitter. Like even now, I'm still scribbling, I'm still sketching, but over top of the foundation that I have, so I'm actually able to get in here and give it a bit more detail. At this stage, I'm not really concerned about making it perfect. I'm just trying to get all the information on there that I need to. And this is exactly how I sketch it. Just keep it working. Just keep that pencil moving. I find that this is when I'm sketching like this is the best place to get, or best way to do it so I can really accent and put the wrinkles in clothes where I need them to be at. Does anybody know what this angle, this camera angle that I'm using is called? You? It's foreshortening, but the name of the camera angle. It's up in the sky. What flies around in the sky? Bird's eye view. So camera from the top, bird's eye view, looking down, which is a foreshortening style of perspective that we're using here.
Is there a word for when the viewer is looking down? When the viewer is looking up?
Worm's eye view. When the viewer's looking down at it. Oh, no. Yeah, when you're at the bottom, looking up at the character, worm's eye view. I know you're probably looking like Mike. You're not drawing on the paper anymore. What are you doing? This is a habit that I have, and I think a lot of artists do it. But it's the motion of still drawing the piece that you can't see on the canvas, so you can line it up right. Now, just because I'm doing it on an iPad, I'm gonna put the chain on its own layer. Now, because I'm trying to, I normally get 60 cards per set, and I draw comic books and I do commissions and things like that at the same time. I create my own little shortcuts. So, with that being at the stage that's at in the blue line, I would start coloring this now. I would start pulling out my markers and adding color to it. No, the regular, regular graphite. Now, if I drew this all the way out in blue line, all the detail, this blue line would still show up, which I guess I kind of coined as my own style. Is that the blue line? You can still see the blue line in the picture. I think it adds to that original art look because you get to see the whole groundwork of everything still in it. And I'm not that great of a cleanup artist, so I gotta make my faults into my wins. So if I was actually doing the card, that's how. The one thing I don't like to do is add for my shadows, I don't like to add a lot of black to the shadows. We can't see it with our actual human eye, but every shadow in the world has some hue of color to it. It's very faint, but every shadow that we see has a hue of a color to it. And normally it's based off of the sunlight, which is adding that color to it, and it's a very subtle thing. So as an artist, it's my job or any other artist's job to bring that out. You want to avoid muddying up the picture with a bunch of grays and things like that. So when I chose my a darker color to go over top of this, I went more towards the orange and the yellow, especially with Ghost Rider's skull being on fire. Uh, I just looked at it. Thank you. So right now at this stage with the marker, I'm just blocking in the color. Now there are other artists that do their sketch cards and they do it in watercolor, they do it in acrylic, they paint, sometimes airbrush, and they're all fantastic. Well, when I got out of college and I got my degree, I vowed I never painted. I did it, got my grade, got my degree, I'm out. I'm not touching paints, I don't like it. But while I was at college, I discovered marker rendering. And I saw that my school, the Columbus College of Art Design, actually took markers seriously. They use it for industrial design. That's how like a lot of comps for buildings, cars, shoes, all that stuff is done in marker rendering. I had my real close friend Trevor Zammit. That kid could color anything with markers. And I saw him and I was like, oh God, that is dope. I want to be able to do that. And so I just kept messing around with markers so I got comfortable with them and I do all my commission stuff in markers. So, and this basically is just how you're just blocking in colors pretty much. Now, because I don't want to get too ahead of myself, I do want to start adding in the fire from the skull. With marker rendering, I always go from light to dark. It's easier to build on top of the lights versus if I go dark too fast, I can't fix that, or it's going to take a lot of work to try to fix that. Putting this right now on its own separate layer gives me the freedom to really mess around with it. I want to have this thing like Ghost Rider is doing off right now. Whoever he's talking to is getting it. Literally, just like I was sitting down combing one of my daughter's hair, I am combing these flames into his hands. All the white space. I normally will use one flat color for the background because I really don't need a background for it. I want the focus to be on the character, or I'll draw like a little bit of building destruction or something like that. The pieces that I put together in 4-piece sets, I come up with full-blown backgrounds for those, whether it be the woods, a cityscape, or something like that, or the sky. Again, I'm trying to go for as much getting done as much as I can, or getting done as quickly as I can with them. There may be maybe like 5 to 7 cards where I'll put extra time in them because I either like that character or I came up with a really good pose. But for the most part, I'm just trying to get them. I'm just trying to get them done. Find something that I think is gonna pop and catch your eye. I don't want you to be over. I don't want your eye to be over critical, trying to figure out everything that's going on. I just really want you to see the character. Like I did I messed up and I did a 4-panel piece of who was it? Galactus and Silver Surfer flying around. Silver Surfer flying around his arm, and it was like Silver Surfer was flying around the arm on 3 cards, and then the 4th card he came forward to the camera, and Galactus was sitting here like trying to get a hold of him, and I had this whole space background laid out, and then I don't know why, I pulled out my contract, and I looked, and I was like, "You're on the no draw list." Galactus the Silver Surfer on the no draw list, and like I had this thing drawn all the way out, like in gross detail. So I said, well, I walked away first. I was done for that day. Wasn't drawing nothing else. Got up, came back to it the next day, and I started looking at it. And then I realized these colors and characters are very similar to a Sentinel and Iceman. And that's who that became. Just drew over top of it and colored it and made it into a Sentinel. Had Colossus like running across the arm. I was like, all right, there was no way I wasn't gonna spend all that time on it and not turn that card in. And those are little things that you have to work around and figure out. And the thing about fire is alive. It has movement. It has a flow to it. So you have to kind of draw it like that. These flames wiggling around Ghost Rider's face. I got a couple more minutes left. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. I'm gonna try to get some inks on this to kind of like detail Ghost Rider's skull. and I would go for the next 2 to 3 hours, finishing that up, detailing and adding all those colors. Just trying to focus on one section so you can see how it develops and stuff like that. But that's how I make sketch cards. I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna come down and give you guys all the free pass here.
Pass them up.
You get a free item. Just come over to my table. Oh, you blended in so casually. Pay my car, student loans, but don't let me guilt you into anything. Make your own choices. Like I said, you won't hurt my feelings. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, saw something cool.
Excuse me. Mine are growing. I got 2 grandsons now.